I've got one for you. So I'm online the other day doing what I normally do when I have free time, hitting up my different haunts, eBay, forums, things like that, just looking to see what's out there for sale or just even postings just to learn. And I come across an ad for an amp for sale, a little Tweed amp, mystery amp, 40s, 50s, question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, click on the ad, look at the pictures. I'm intrigued. Part of the description was the seller expressing that they couldn't find anything out about the amp. They did their due diligence, quote unquote, and there's just no information. That can't be. I mean, we're 2023, internet age, everything's online somewhere. So, okay, all right. Talk to the seller, strike a deal, price is right. There it is. So I give my home address. I have it sent to my home, which I don't normally do. There's kind of a certain comfort in doing research and work and the comfort of your dad's shorts and an old T-shirt, taking your time over a couple monsters that you can't beat. So, all right, I have it sent to my home and we're on our way. So I've got some time to kill between today, when it arrived, and when I ordered it. Okay, so again, go back and start from fresh. Google the serial number, which starts with 163, and just, see what I can find, and nothing, nothing, nothing. So I see what the guy was talking about as far as hitting a wall. All right, dig deeper. Talk to my tech, Nick. Echoes, or crickets rather. And okay, let's dig even deeper. So I go right to some of my sources for old Sears Roebuck stuff. So first instinct, reach out to Randy at silvertoneworld.net. If Randy doesn't know, it probably isn't there. And so I send Randy the pictures and I'm like, hey man, can you help? What do you know? What can you guess? No guess. Doesn't know. When you go that, far enough back, there's really not a lot of information. There's information, but he goes, hey man, I don't know. I have a best guess, but best guess, that doesn't really mean much. His advice was go through Sears Roebuck catalogs, which have been digitized, and almost all of them have been found starting at, I think, like, into the late 30s and to modern times, give or take. Again, there's a few that are missing. And he goes, just go season by season, year by year, starting at, a time that, or a year that you think is appropriate, and see if you can find it. And that's a lot of pages. So, okay, I keep that in the back of my head. And another name comes to mind, and that's Tom Halleck from Tom's Amps, based out of Detroit. Tom has this really expansive and cool collection of really, really old, really early guitar amps. And I figured he might know off the top of his head. If he doesn't already have this in his collection, he might, have it on his radar as far as, what he's looking for. Who knows? And he doesn't know. So, okay, I'm really intrigued at this point. And I give up. So, all right, 1956. Let's pick a year. 56. Start at the end of 56. Sears catalog. Found the archive online, and I go back year by year by year. Not seeing it. Not seeing it. Not seeing it. Get to 1950. Okay. Start going back and back and back. Get to 46, and I'm like, all right, we're in kind of like the war effort times at this point. So I'm getting a little more suspicious that maybe I missed something. But I persist. And lo and behold, I get to summer of 43. There it is. Unassuming, calling no attention to itself, is a drawing of the amp. There it is. That's got to be it. It's an unmistakable face to this amp. There it is. All right. I think I found it. So go back even further. Fall of 42. There it is again. Or before, however you want to look at it. Awesome. I mean, it's got to be it. And what was really cool is that they show the reverse of the amp too in the fall of 42. And it matches. So this is it. I found it. It's super early, really early 40s. I mean, early in electric amps to begin with. I mean, we're talking about, they've only been really a thing since 35, 36. So this is really, really early. This is amazing. And, you look at the pictures, you'll see what kind of condition it's in. It's in great condition. And the seller told me this was truly a closet find at an estate sale. It had been tucked away for eons. Who knows? I mean, this is not a well-traveled or even a remotely traveled amp. This has probably moved from house to house maybe a few times, but it's for early 40s. This shouldn't exist. So I still have my suspicions, but it's got to be it. So go back to the drawing board. All right, we found it in Sears catalog, at least the face and at least, the exoskeleton of this thing. But let's get, deeper into the number on the back. So 163, 163, 163. I find a couple results, but it's not my 163. So what is 163? Manufacturer code. All points lead to Valco, but with question marks behind it. So in the early 40s, Valco bought National Dobro. And that's who most commonly the manufacturer code 163 is associated with. So that makes sense. All right, cool. So it might be a Valco. All right. And then, looking at how everything fell off in the fall of 42, Valco stopped production between 43 and 46 for the war effort. So the fact that I didn't find it after that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, so we know it's not a silver tone. The basic Sears store brand, if you will. So it's got to be a Valco. That's awesome. It makes a ton of sense. All right, so now we have an approximate year. We have the examples in the Sears catalog. So I know kind of what I'm dealing with as far as, again, the outside, the exoskeleton. And fast forward to today. I finally get it, in the mail. It's wrapped to the nines. I mean, it you'll see in the pictures. It was very securely wrapped, I'll put it that way. And I'm excited to take this thing apart, dig in, start looking at speaker codes, anything with a number on it that I can find, to really try to confirm that what I have is what I think it is. And I'm thwarted. If you look in the pictures, you'll see that the rear panel of the amp is actually secured to the internal chassis and the internal electronics of the amp, which no one in their right mind in this format would do now. And I got all the screws off, things like that, and I go to pull the panel off, and it's still not moving. What's going on? And there it is, this tiny, tiny, tiny little watch screw inside of the one knob that is on this amp on the rear side, a tiny watch screw. And I don't have a screwdriver of that size at my home to loosen this, to get that off of there, to get the back panel off the amp, to again start looking at everything inside, speaker code, so on and so forth, to confirm what I think that I've got. So here I am. I've been waiting for the better part of a week, if not a little bit more than that, to get this thing, and it arrives. It's safe. It's here. It's beautiful. It's everything the pictures and the seller said it was going to be, and I'm like 98% of the way there, and I have to stop. So I guess it'll have to wait. But for the time being, there is a really, really good chance that what I've got is an extremely, extremely early example of an electric guitar amp. And what's cool about when you look at the Sears catalog listings is that it's not listed as an amplifier for a lap steel. This is specifically listed as an amplifier for an electric or an electrified 6-string guitar. So this is a really, really early example of an amp that was specifically made for really early electric guitars or 6-string guitars as we know them today. You can find stuff from the late 30s, early 40s, but again, there's so many examples. Supro comes to mind, Rickenbacker, the list goes on, for amps that were made for lap steels, but not for 6-string guitars specifically as we know them today. So this in essence, shouldn't exist. There's a couple examples from the Sears catalog that I found online for reference. From beginning at 41, there's not a lot. There really isn't a lot, but there isn't one of these. And one of the opinions shared with me in one of the forums that I haunt is, you might be the only person in the world that has this. This might only exist at your home at this point. You might be the only one. How to find that out for sure, there's no way. But there's a really good chance that that might be true. So until we can dig in, until we can get the back panel off, till we start looking at everything that the previous owner had taken out and put in, and we look at speaker codes, things like that, we don't know for sure exactly what we've got. But we have a pretty damn good idea of what's sitting in my dining room right now. So check it out. Digitized Sears catalog. Again, summer of 43, fall of 42. You'll see with the rest of the guitars and the amps, this specific amp in drawing form, plain as day, right there. And that's all I can find about it. And I've found other examples from around then, as far as specs for amps that you can reference online that, enthusiasts and things like that have hand-drawn or recreated, which are close, but it's not this. So the less I find, not only am I more intrigued, but I'm more excited because that little suspicion that this might be it. This could, and it's realistic to think so, this could be the last one. There's a pretty realistic chance. Day by day, every day that passes, every year that passes, less and less of these are in existence, and that's a true fact. There's no way to argue that. You look at estate sales and how much stuff is thrown away, things that are inherited and discarded are just lost to family history, whatever. There's a really, really good chance that this is the only one. So until we get it really, really taken apart and we're able to really, really, really confirm those suspicions, it still remains a mystery. But until we get there, I am not any less excited, if not 10 times more excited now, if not more, than when we started this whole adventure. So until the next update, which I absolutely will provide, I got nothing more for you other than, oh my God, this is so cool.